just want to really spend a short bit of time just speaking to you, one, about my life, but also about your life. One, about the choices that I've made in the past, but also some of the choices that you are making now, some of the choices that you are making today. Now, with young people, many of us would rather be popular than be bright. But sometimes the choices we make eventually lead us down the wrong path, lead us down the wrong avenues. And sometimes we don't stop to realize and recognize that every action has a reaction. The things you do today will eventually impact your tomorrow. What do I mean when I say this? For example, if you don't focus, you don't stay in school, you don't get the grades you need, along the road, that will affect you. That will affect you in terms of what you can do for work, what you can do in terms of your career, and in various other avenues of your life. I was a young person that really went down the wrong path quite early on in my life. I was somebody, first of all, at the age of 9, I was sexually abused. And that was basically the genesis of where life started going wrong for me. I was sexually abused at 9. I was bullied in school. When I was bullied in school, I didn't really tell anybody, and on a day-to-day basis, I was the butt of the jokes of many people within the school. But on a particular day, I decided that enough was enough, and I wasn't going to be bullied anymore. In fact, it was after I had watched a Rocky film. I can't remember whether it was Rocky 1, 2, or 3. But after watching the Rocky film and saw the determination and focus that Rocky had, I decided that I too could have that determination. I too could have that focus. So on another day, went back into school, and one of my bullies had decided once again that he was going to take it upon himself to make my life a misery. But on this particular day, I decided to fight back. And in fighting back, usually I would hear myself saying, "Let me go, leave me alone." But to my astonishment, to my amazement, I suddenly heard my bully saying, "Leave me alone, let me go." Suddenly the crowd started gathering, and I was shocked to find all these people cheering me on as I took on the bully. And with every form of energy I could muster, I continued punching and fighting and kicking. And at the end of it, I would say on that particular day, I was successful, and people were lifting me up, and people were cheering for me, and people were congratulating me. I felt really good. I felt like a champion for the first time in a long time. But the downside of this was I enjoyed that moment of popularity and decided that I wanted to keep being popular. Earlier on, I spoke about young people rather being popular than being bright. So the problem with this was I now morphed into a bully myself. And I now began terrorizing people, terrorizing the neighborhood, becoming a bully myself, because there's a saying that says the fire that is chasing you that will determine how fast you will run. I never wanted to go back to being bullied again. I never wanted to go back to be seen as being weak. So I now became the bully. After a while, bullying was no longer enough for me. And that was when I got involved in petty crime. I started shoplifting, and before I knew it, I was hot wiring cars and mugging people on the streets. The thing is, when you do negative things, it always tends to spiral in a negative downward movement. So after mugging, after crime, before I knew it, I found myself in a gang. And in this gang, we terrorized basically people in East London, to be precise, Hackney. And what we did was, it became our nature to meet up with other gangs and fight. And initially it was just our bare hands, but before you knew it, we went into using things as baseball bat, poles, knuckle dusters, chains, and it just went from one level to the next. Things got bad. Things got really bad. And before we knew it, the gang now decided to involve themselves in fraud, deception, and a lot of drug dealing. At some point, I was personally making about £5,000 on a weekly basis. And with this, I found another kind of popularity that I enjoyed. But what happened was, let's just say I had to live a fake life. I have a speech titled, "It's Hard Work Being a Bad Boy." Because I even had to fake being angry even when I wasn't angry. It takes a lot of strength to keep on keeping your face frowned, because That's what made you look intimidating. That's what made you look angry. And people would always think twice before approaching you. So that was what I did. First the drugs. And what you have to understand is if you're going to be involved in drug dealing, at some point you are probably going to have to back it up with violence. Eventually, I ended up having 2 attempts on my life. Also, a cousin of mine got stabbed 5 times in the chest and 4 times in the back. Over a period of time, I lost 11 friends to the blade of a knife and to a bullet of a gun. I want to talk to those gangs that are out there, especially with all the postcode killings that are going on right now. You don't own the postcode, and it really is wrong for you to be spilling blood. It really is wrong for you not to get in school, stay in school, and focus on your education.